We're back to Cape Lomond today after adding the BRT and tram interchange and creating the big mid-density neighbourhood to the north. It's time to swing back to the downtown and really start filling out the central business district. We've got most of the tall buildings in place, but as you can see, it's looking a bit bare on the ground, and I'm going to be transforming this into this. Now we're going to use all the tools at our disposal, and we're really going to be looking to add some street level detailing with the aim to cover every bit of spare land with parks, plazas, walkways, parking, surfaces, decals and a few props. Now I'm going to be doing this episode a little bit differently than usual, so rather than me yakking all the way through, this one will mostly be time-lapse and we'll have some nice cinematic shots at the end. Anything worth pointing out, I'll pop in and I'll shout out now and again as we progress. One thing I will be changing here, and that is going to be the use of custom assets on the build. We've been building on this map for 10 months now, believe it or not, and we still don't have any firm dates on an official editor, and frankly I feel that we're just missing out on too much on this build. In particular, the use of StarQ's ploppable buildings that I've been using in other builds, I'm really missing them here. So I reckon that, coupled with the degrading performance of the build, makes me believe that we might not have too much time left on the map. If the FPS and the simulation rates keep dropping, then it's going to be pretty difficult for me to actually make a watchable video out of it. There's still so much that I want to do on this build. I've got tons still to build, and having a few more assets and props and whatnot, will certainly help me with that, and it shouldn't affect performance too negatively either. Now, knowing my luck and my knack for terrible timing, I wouldn't be surprised if the editor's released just as this video goes live, but one can only hope. So I reckon doing videos in this style, it's not necessarily going to be the new normal or anything like that for me. It just kind of lends itself to it. There's not really too much to kind of go through or to explain as we go through it. It's all pretty self-explanatory really, to be honest, on this one. If you do have any questions though, and I haven't popped in and talked about it, just leave a comment, ask me a question down below, and obviously I'll get back to you. I do read all of them. If you do enjoy this kind of video though, don't forget to like it. It does help a ton. And on that note, I'm going to shut up and we'll crack on with the build. So now it's time to have a little look through the build and see what we've ended up with. Now I think one of the nicest things about doing this sort of street level type detailing is being able to create different vistas going down the city. So obviously here we can see pretty much right the way down to our transport hub. Don't forget guys, if you missed it there earlier on, that fountain, if you don't have it already, you can get it for free. I'll leave the link and the code that you need down in the description below, so do check it out if you don't have it already. Although it's time consuming, using different surfaces and using some of the new Netlanes to create different pathways and areas of interest, definitely worth it. And this is probably one of my favourite examples here. This is made with just different surfaces, a few different props to make it look nicer, and some invisible paths, and you can create some really interesting points in your city. Wee Man making another appearance here, and again, lovely termination of a vista as we move through the city. Although we do have a good number of different parks now to use, I think it's always worth taking a minute and just making your own as and when you can. Again, these new Netlanes coming into play here, and there's a ton of variation as well, so highly recommended. And here's another example, we're just using a really large one, and I think, as I said in my last video, this is basically cheat code detailing, dead simple to use, really quick, really effective. And another example here, just with that entrance to the big building, you can kind of cover up the entire road, so you've got vehicle traffic and you've got pedestrian traffic all in the one pre-detailed paving. Now if you want to get hold of this game save, I do have it on the Patreon, and it's available to YouTube members as well. You just need to log onto the Discord and link your account. One thing I would say on this particular build, if you want to try and get it loaded up, is that you probably need a pretty beefy PC with a decent amount of RAM to get it loaded up. Any of the rest of the builds on the Patreon and the YouTube membership area, the Discord, will be fine, but this build in particular I would definitely recommend only trying to load it up if you do have a higher spec PC. So I think maybe coming up next, I've got a few different ideas. I definitely need to get an airport in the city at some stage of the game. I do have some ideas with that, but it's a whole area and it'll probably take me a few weeks to make it. I want to get a university done. We do have a university, but it's literally just a random building plopped in the middle of nowhere, so really we need a campus there. And I reckon a city centre or a downtown campus would look pretty nice as well, and I think that would take a pretty good gap just right beside our central business district that we've detailed up today. We don't really have any major sports facilities in the city, and we don't really have any racetrack facilities either, so these are just a few things that are racing through my mind. So it's just a case of prioritising and really just making my mind up as to what I want to do. Well, that's just a few ideas. I've got plenty more. There's just never enough time, is there? But let me know what you thought about this one, guys. As I said, it was a little bit different in terms of how we went about making it today. Thanks for watching. Thank you once again to my Patreon and YouTube members, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.